Larry Baker, long-time listener but first-time writing in. I'm curious to know some stories about Jeff Jarrett's mother, Christine Jarrett. As one of the few women promoters, stories from Jim Cornette and others tell of a woman diminutive in stature but would take no guff from anybody. What are your interactions with Christine?
She was like, I like Miss Christine. Smart woman. And she had to battle all these men all the time because women promoters, you would have one guy trying to talk down to her and she wouldn't take it. So she would tell all the wrestlers, this is the way it's going to be. And you either do it or you're not going to work here. And she more or less, nobody really, I never saw anybody stand up to her. Oh, she wouldn't allow that. She worked in the office. And what was that lady's name? I mean, Teeny was Jeff Jarrett's grandmother. She was the mother of Jerry. And she never allowed any of them to talk down to her. And I don't see why somebody would want to talk down to her anyway, because she was always, to me, a very nice lady. And she had some other woman, I can't remember her name, who used to travel with her every night. And they would handle the money. Now, you got to think about this. They were leaving the arena with sometimes a lot of money, cash money in their hand. I never really thought about it till about, 5 years ago, but I'm thinking, well, I bet they had a lot of ideas about robbing those women. So, but they never were robbed. So, and she had Nashville, she had Evansville and Louisville. Those were her towns, and sometimes she would have Lexington, Kentucky. And she would do very, very well. So if you went to her with a problem, or it has always been my experience with her, when you went to her with a problem, she would listen to you and she'd actually do something about it. You would actually, if you had a problem, if you go to her instead of going to Jerry, it had a much more chance of going through. But she did prove a point that she knew what she was doing, and she would stop a lot of activities between the wrestlers and the young females. Oh my God, don't let her catch you with a young female. Oh, she would raise hell. And rightfully so, because they have come in and arrested guys about things that she had told them specifically not to mess with these girls.
With that being, actually, weirdly, that just so happens to be the next question I'm going to ask, but I'll just stick with Christine for a minute longer, is how did she get into wrestling, and was she involved with wrestling before Jerry?
She was involved with wrestling before Jerry, because she had a job working for the old-time Nashville promoter. I can't remember his name. But when Nick bought him out and took over the territory, she came along with it. So that's how she ended up on the scene. And she ended up on the scene because Jerry bought out Nick Goulas later on.
I'm just trying to look.
She was working for Nick Goulas, and then when they did the move in Memphis, when they went on their own in Memphis, they wanted to go on their own in Nashville and Louisville and Evansville, and they did. And Jerry, he installed his mother as a home promoter, and they ran it that way for years and years and years.
I don't know if this is right. John Kazana? Or is that
John
wrong?
Casana was Knoxville,
Yes.
and we didn't have anything. Jerry didn't want to have anything to do with that. Because I think he wanted too much for it, or he still wanted to have his hand in the business. So if you're going to buy something, run it. Don't buy something and let the old bosses still run it, because then they know where all the ways to skim money is. So, but he did get Lexington, Kentucky, which was a great town. They had a 22,000 seat basketball stadium at the University of Kentucky, and they'd sell it out for a basketball game. 22,000 people. So, but when we ran it for wrestling, we'd only run half of it, but they'd be over 10, 11, 12,000 people there.